Hey guys, Jamie here from the Butch Harmon School of Golf, and today myself and our fitness professional Allister Parlane are going to take you through the causes of a sway and how you can fix them. The first part to fixing a sway is to understand what a sway is and some of the physical problems that may be attached to that kind of swing characteristic. When I talk about a sway with students, I'm normally talking about a sidewards movement of the hips. So for example, I have an alignment stick up my right hip here. If I was to see somebody move their hip to the side like this, push into the stick, and you'll often see a very leftward tilted spine angle at the top of the swing, we would describe that as a sway of the hips. So one of the things that we'll tend to see when it comes to swayers is that you'll see some right hip problems. This can be anything from a limitation in the rotation of the right hip to a weakness in the right glute. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass you over to Allister in our gym, and he's going to talk you through a couple of things that you can do to help your sway in the gym.
Before I show you 3 exercises that will help out with your sway in your golf swing, I think it's important to understand why physically you might not be able to stop yourself from swaying. So I think there's 3 key factors. I think 1, we need to have good trail hip stability. Number 2, we also need to have the ability to internally rotate onto our trail hip. And third and final point is the ability to separate lower body and upper body, keeping the lower body stable and creating stretch by rotating our upper body. So the first one I'm going to focus on is one to improve our trail hip stability. So if you can get into a side plank position, stack feet, knees, hips and shoulders on top of one another. The easier example is this: place the hand down on the floor, elevate hips up, and all you're going to do from here is extend up the top leg and back down slowly under control. To progress from that, we're no longer going to use our top hand, we're going to elevate this up to the top, perform the same action, lift leg up and slowly back down. Key thing throughout this in terms of form, ankle, knees, hips and shoulders almost as a perfect straight line running down that the whole time. The second exercise, we're going to look at how we can improve our internal rotation in our right hip. So the first one, to make it nice and easy, hold on to a wall or pillar, knee comes up nice and high, keeping our shoulders completely still, we're going to open up our hips and then rotate right through as best as we can. So as we're doing this, we've got to keep these shoulders nice and still, feet nice and still, and ensuring we're feeling almost a stretch around that right hip area. To progress from that, hands are nice and wide again, knee comes up nice and tall, and then from here, open up and then close over. Again, key thing is keeping that upper body nice and still as we're rotating into that right hip area. The third and final one was looking at keeping the lower body stable, where we're able to rotate our upper body. So what we need to do is grab a medicine ball. We're going to set up into a split stance. So for a right-handed golfer, it'd be more beneficial to put right foot forward and left foot back. Hands are extended at chest height, and when you sink down into a split squat stance, I'm going to turn into this right hip, keeping the legs completely still, but just turning our upper body. So if you look at my legs here, ankles, knees and hips staying perfectly still as the upper body's turning. Should be feeling a slight stretch into glutes there as we're doing that. So try those 3 exercises out if you're getting any sway problems during your golf swing, and you should be feeling you're able to stabilize this a little bit better and turn into it during your golf swing.
Once you've tackled a couple of those exercises in the gym, you can then begin to bring it to the practice tee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this stick just to demonstrate how the hip should turn and how you can use it for feedback. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a couple of shots just with this stick running along my right hip. And what I want to do is I want to feel my right hip rotating back behind me instead of moving right and pushing into the stick. So if I make a swing where I end up feeling like I'm pushing into that stick quite early, I know I'll have swayed. The feeling I like to get is almost as if my chest is turning over my right side a little bit more. I'm feeling my right hip pushing behind me, and then from there I can really just swing it. You can do slow motion practice swings to start off, just trying to get the control side of it. I'm going to start with maybe a 50 or 60 yard shot, just trying to feel like I turn into that right hip properly and lightly swing it through, and then I'll start to build up speed into a more normal swing. As I get the hang of it, I can add more and more speed. The backswing is always controlled. One of the things Butch would always say is you position the club in the backswing and you deliver it in the follow through. So what we want to feel on the follow through is that little bit of speed, but with that control in the backswing where my hip never sways into that pole. Let's give it a go. And I like that strike. So if you guys struggle with a sway at home, try those exercises, get your stick out and try this on the practice tee, and you should really see an improvement in how you use those hips in the backswing and how good you strike it on the downswing.